Hi, Thiago. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thank you for being here with us. Here we are for another conversation of these 24 hours worldwide design conversations powered by Politecnico di Milano Design System. And this year we are talking about designing in an era offers uncertainty. And the motto is kind of no designer is an island. And what we are going to talk about today is about exploring research fields. And before introducing you, I'd like to read the short statement you made for this conversation so we can start that. All right? So the short statement from Anna is, in a world where designers are each day more inserted in the decision-making and discovery processes in diverse technology areas, how can we make use of design practices to help shape how the future of digital products will look like? How can we make sure we are solving the right problems, and how addressing these problems will bring new ways of interactions between humans and technology? There are so many unexplored fields that designers are starting to be closer with, proving that design could and should be a multidisciplinary research field. How can designers help shape the future of technology and its interaction with humans? Really nice statement, Anna. Thank you for that. So, Anna, you graduated in the Netherlands and then you moved back to Brazil to study interaction design, right? And now you work for a Silicon Valley startup. Can you please tell a bit about your journey as a designer in the world of finance and how did you land there?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting story that resonates a lot with the introduction I gave. Basically, I studied in a art school, which was pretty traditional. And during school years, I already figured that I wanted to work with technology because that always inspired me, and how technology can also help people in different ways. So during those years in art school, I already wanted to come back to Brazil because I was really young when I left the country. So I wanted to explore like my country and how I could also create a new identity as a designer in Brazil, my homeland. So from that, I came back here, studied interaction design, and started working for startups. And a few years back, I landed in the world of finance, which was a completely new world to me. Because when I planned to do design, I thought I'm not going to do anything related to mathematics or numbers. And I understood that with design, I could actually help people that are like bad with numbers, just as me, to simplify how we do finances and help these people understand it, because it shouldn't be something that only a few number of people have knowledge about. Sharing that knowledge is really important to make sure that people make the right decisions as well. So I really found in that world my ikigai, that's the Japanese term that says where you find like what you love to do, what you're good at, and what you can make money out of it. And that really resonated to me. And that helped me also understand that that quote, no designer is an island, because we can be in so many different places, discover so many different worlds that are not only design itself, which I believe is the most amazing thing about being a designer, really.
Really good. And yes, you told that finance is a topic that a lot of people is not really aware. And about everything the world is facing with the pandemic, I believe that it should be a topic that everyone should be really aware about that, because it was a huge discussion about the financial situation in the world caused by the pandemic, caused by the coronavirus. And just to make a question to you, how do you think, of course, design can help for that, for to approximate people to the financial world? And how do you think design was and is going to be important in moments like that the world is facing through right now?
I think design can help people be closer to aspects of their lives that they're not really familiar with. So as I was saying, in the financial aspects, how can we designers help people designing really approachable interactive systems that everybody, no matter how what their financial situation is, can understand and be owner of that situation as well. And I think also design is something that always questions everything, questions how we interact with the world, and always questions the status quo. And I think this is really important, especially in times like this, where everything is so uncertain. And I think that's a reflection that I had also the last couple of months, and also like reading the topic of this conversation. Really, we talk a lot, we use a lot the term of uncertain times, but there wasn't actually a time that stuff were really certain. And I think that's something that designers also face, because when we are designing things, we have no clue on how people are really going to interact with, how they're going to behave with. And I think design also teaches things in that way. We can prepare for things, for situations, but we can't assume something is going to be a determined way because we saw it happening in the past. New stuff can happen, like this pandemic. No one could think about something like this, or no one could think that we would live something like this before. And I think having that mindset of, okay, we can see what happened before, and we can try to plan for it, but we also need to think about the situations where we have no control over. And it's always going to be uncertain. All the time, everything is going to be uncertain.
Yes, of course. I totally agree with you. And I think that design is a powerful tool to help us going through these moments that no one predicted that would happen now and right in this moment. How do you think having this different background that you have has helped you in your work as a designer and a researcher, that the work you are doing now and everything? How do you think it has helped you?
That's a great question, because I feel that I was really ashamed somehow of being a foreigner when I was younger. And I understood with time that that was like actually one of my biggest strengths. And when I came back to Brazil, I studied a lot also like Brazilian design, but I noticed that Brazilian design is heavily influenced by European design or American design. And that's also something that I started reading deeply about, which is the decolonization of design, especially Brazilian design, that's really dependent on this, on European or American influences. And with that, there is this guy here in Brazil. He's a poet. Oswald de Andrade is his name, and he talked almost 100 years ago about how the anthropophagic ways of decolonizing Brazil from arts, from design, And of course, we can, instead of absorbing all the knowledge that we get from European or for American influences, if we do a digestion of that into us, and we become one with that, that's part of us, instead of being something that we look at, our design is going to be unique as well. And also, we're going to have a more sense of empathy somehow when we design things. And I think this is a big word in the world of design right now, being empathetic. I believe this same structure of thought would fit perfectly here, because if you, instead of trying to be empathetic with someone else, if you start not separating the other from you, then you can really shape an experience of that person in better ways, because you are not a separation anymore. But I think I I went really far away with my train of thought here.
No, but it was a really nice thought, and I really like that you cited Oswald de Andrade. Since I'm a Brazilian as you, he's a really important poet and important character of our Brazilian culture history. And it was really nice when you said about the decolonization design and this process that is going not only in Brazil, I think, but all around the colonized countries. And I would like to ask you, how do you think, what do you think this decolonization of the design is going in Brazil right now? And how is your design process today? And if this decolonization, and since you are Brazilian, but you have a Dutch father, so you are kind of Dutch Brazilian girl, and you have studied in Europe, in the Netherlands. So I would like to know, how is your design process today, thinking about the decolonization of the design made by the European colonization in Brazil, and also connecting to your also European background.
Awesome. So I think, first of all, it's really difficult to be to apply that in my work. In like that's a personal struggle I have, because a lot of the influences that I got are European, and trying to reach out for more Brazilian designers or understand more about Brazilian architecture or Brazilian arts. I think in that way, I like raising more knowledge in those senses. I can be a designer that really fights for this decolonization, the dependency we have from the Western society. And I think I'm heavily influenced by European artists, but I'm really proud as well of what Brazilian designers built, because we are also referenced, especially in the technology world. We are really a big reference on design and product development and digital product development. So I'm really proud of that. I think my process today is also influenced by like really a lot of design thinking things. But one thing that I can say that I think being in Brazilian helped me with is to have a multi-disciplinary way of thinking about things. Brazilians are really friendly and approachable, and I think that also helps to create an environment where everybody's comfortable to bring their ideas and have this multidisciplinary process as well. I think my design process is really structured in bringing all these pieces together, different people from different backgrounds. And I think also not only like if we're going to design things for Brazilian population, we have to, which is so diverse, we have to have a diverse team that also is represented there. Otherwise, we're going to be designing stuff for like this small amount of people that represents a small part of the Brazilian population. But I like to think that having this multicultural and multidisciplinary and studying more about it, about Brazilian influences, and being proud and disseminating that to the world also helps with the process of saying, hey, we are good in what we do as well. We may be proud of it.
I totally agree with you, of course, because I'm a Brazilian as well. But yes, we do have great stuff to share also for the design world. And as you said, we are a big player in the tech field. And
For sure.
you work in the tech field and the financial field for Silicon Valley startup. So that also prove that about we are talking about. Really nice what you said, and I'd like to ask you, how do you feel? So cute, your cat.
Sorry about
How?
that.
No worries. How do you feel the new normal has affected your work since we were talking about it? That you work for the financial and tech sector, and how do you think things will look like in the future? And not in the very far future, but also in the very next future.
Yes, that's something that I think a lot of people thought about this last year. I think really
Yes.
the pandemic only accelerated a process that was already ongoing of being more and more international and more digital and more global. Like a year back, year and a half back, I wouldn't have thought that we were be having this conversation right here. And I think in one way that affected in positive ways, just like this, sharing knowledge. Uh, but of course, that's like only my experience from my side. I think it affected also work for the minorities as well. It just made it more clear that the system we are living in, it's not fair. And we knew that a long way ago, but I think it just made it more clear that it's not working, right? Like the Brazilian situation says a lot about that. And I think in the near future, I think we are going to be able to rethink the models in which we live in, the economy in which we live in, and rethink things as well. So I think in this side of things, it just accelerated a process that needed to happen anyways, and it was about to happen, but I think it just made it come quicker to us.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And you told about what we faced and are still facing because of the pandemic, and about the minority population that also get, let's say, not enough yet, but a spotlight in this year. And I think that's really connected to the theme that we are talking, that no designer is an island, but also making a reference to the poem of John Donne, that no man is an island. So no one is an island, and we are all humans, and we are should be all together. But as you said, in Brazil, the situation is really sad right now, also because of the pandemic, and we should be no island. Let's always use that statement and repeat again: no designer is an island, and let's help each other. And on saying that, you talked about being a multidisciplinary designer. What other disciplines do you think will become more relevant for designers in these futures, let's say in the plural?
It's hard to say because there's so many that I can think of. I mean, I think we designers are each day more challenged to understand about data, for example, and how we interpret data and how we work with data, and also philosophy in some ways, because how in a way, in a world where technology is growing so fast, how is our design going to affect other people's lives in different ways with this technology, and anthropology as well, because how is are humans going to start interacting each time more with technology, and how that we can help shape a future where it's more equal, there is that respects all different aspects of the human beings. And also, I really believe that a lot of my processes today, while designing for digital experiences, has to do with psychology or psychoanalysis sometimes, because it's about human behavior as well. And I think it's all connected in the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's like user-centric design never been so real as it is right now because of that, because we understood that the human is the center somehow in what we are doing, and like creating this empathy process with the other as well. As I was talking earlier.
Yes, yes, it's really true, and it's an aspect that we have to search each day more, I think. And talking about this sea, I want to know, how do you feel you want to sail in this yet unexplored sea, and you as a millennial, because this 24 hours worldwide conversation design conversations this year was added to have millennial guests, and I'm a millennial host, you are a millennial guest, and I want to ask, how do you feel you want to sail in the next this yet unexplored sea, and how do you think the Generation Z will sail on that, the next generation?
I mean, it's interesting to think that they don't know a world without internet. That scares me somehow.
Yes, I
Like
totally agree.
just looking at my younger brothers, how they interact with technology is creepy somehow. They are born with with it, and I sound really old now saying this. Uh, but I think like we're just going to repeat that generation after generation, that ours is better, but I don't know, I have faith that Gen Z will make the best out of it, and that's how I feel I want to sail this unexplored sea as well. I mean, like when you are sailing a boat, like a sailboat, the wind is just not going to blow you in the direction you want to go. You have to control it. So in the same way, of course, I'm gonna be sailing and seeing where I want to go and having some control on it. But I think the unexplored aspects of it are what gives me excitement to be alive and to be a designer as well. So whatever floats, it's really.
That's really nice. Yes, very good. It makes us think a lot about this future and also about the next generations, because when you say they were born already with the technology, yes, it kind of scares us because we Looking at that, we think we are old, but we are, of course, we are not. We are still really young. But
Yes.
for the new generation, we are not. But it's really nice how we interact with them and how it is evolving and how they are getting involved with the design, even if they are, let's say, they are not like proper future people to study this field of interest. So they are already interacting with design in a very general way because of the technology. And we still have 5 minutes, like the time flows. But I would like to make you a very general question so we can talk through these 5 minutes. How do you keep yourself creative? And overall, how did you do that? And how are you doing that as a designer in this, in Brazil, especially, that this infinitum lockdown that you are facing?
Yes. Yeah, that's a tough question. I think the last year was pretty unusual in that way because I feel that I had more time to do hobbies and do things like artistic things besides my besides my job. That's not really artistic anymore. But anyways, I started just making whatever it was possible with my hobbies. So I started learning to play bass, for example, and getting back at painting and studying art history, for example. And I think like art gave me the sanity I needed for this last year somehow, because I think that's what separates us from the reality sometimes, maybe like a dissociation of it, which was pretty good this last year because reality was pretty tough as it was. Even for me, that I'm really privileged, even living in Brazil. But I think I try to broaden my hobbies and try to start cooking more and just getting my time busy. Adopted a cat. I think all of these things that help me stay sane somehow, not 100% sane because that's impossible, helped me also grow a lot as a designer this past year. Because when you have this time to work on yourself so much, you're alone so much, you have to face who you are as a person, as a professional. And I think that's really helped me to be more mature in whatever I was designing, to like mature in a way I give feedback, I receive feedback as well. And I think that specific thing that I worked in the last year, that working on giving and receiving feedback, made me feel really, I think, really open to grow as a designer. And that reflected as well in the other hobbies that I'm pursuing, because I think at the end of the day, it's about not being afraid of making mistakes. The more open you are to it, the more vulnerable you are. I think that helps you be each day a better designer. So I think like whatever makes you work on yourself somehow, it's pretty valid in this kind of times, which was something that helped me a lot through this last year.
Really nice. It's really good to hear that. And I could stay here a lot of time talking to you about these topics. We could run through the entire night, but we have arrived to an end. And
it was so fast.
It was really fast. I would like to thank you again. It was really, really nice talking to you. I hope you have enjoyed it as I
I loved
did,
it.
and I hope also the attendees enjoyed it. And thank you so much, Anna. Have a nice evening there in Brazil. Have a nice
Thanks so
night
much.
here in Italy for the ones who are watching us. Thank you.